Here's a thought that I was thinking. We have two things. I was thinking because how we it's just kind of naturally seems like it's been like this for a little while now, where we kind of just do one thing for post chat, whereas before we would do like 2, 3. Sometimes we'll do an extra one. But since we have two things, and I know I saw you saw Project Hail Mary too, so what I'm getting at is if we both have a thing that we want to do for post chat, or that we want to, there's two different subjects for post chat.
Yeah.
Unless you were thinking of Neighbors for an opener.
We could.
Okay, so that's an option. But my other thought was, if we both have a thing for post chat, maybe we just skip a cold open, and then we just allocate more time for post chat.
Oh, sure, that works for me.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
I guess I wasn't planning on it. I guess I'll leave this in for this episode because that'll satisfy my we addressed it to the audience, to our loving fans.
Addressing
so they won't
the
have
allegations.
so we won't have any we were not going to be dogged with messages of like, we always get like, why didn't you guys do the cold open this week? Like,
you guys didn't talk about AI in the cold open.
I was literally going to say that. I was going to say,
what the hell?
So yeah, there we go. Good. All right. Welcome back to ThereWillBeDuds, ladies and gentlemen. This is episode 207, and I am your co-host, TJ, and with me, as always,
I am Nick.
And, as always, we watched a movie. That movie this week is Return to Oz, directed by Walter Murch, from 1985. Ooh, boy, it's late. I completely forgot how to do that. It is a sequel to The Wizard of Oz, the beloved classic, and the movie and the books, because it is an adaptation of the second and third books in the series. But it's much later. It has a much different vibe from the original. Still Ozzy, still Oz-like, but it's very different. Dorothy returns to Oz, and she finds out that it's being taken over by a different evil. The Wicked Witch is not in this. It's Queen Mombi and the Gnome King are the adversaries, and it's a very old book. So there's not, it's just a children's fantasy adventure. That's what it is. There's not a whole lot to expand on. She gets a new group of friends and reunites with the old ones at the very end.
Yes.
Which is I guess the main goal, because she went there to try to find the Scarecrow. But he was not there. I don't know where I was going to go. Anyways, so yeah, this was my first time. I always heard of it as this like, weird 80s child trauma movie.
Yes.
So I was always curious about seeing it, but I know you did watch this. Did you just like watch it once as a kid, or was this like in your rotation?
I think we watched it a few times. Okay. I want to say that this is one of the movies that my grandma had on VHS. And I do think it was, I don't think it was all the time, but I think we watched it enough. Because the original Wizard of Oz and like Willy Wonka, those were like two of those sort of like classic kids movies that we just watched a ton of, like the beloved classics.
Same. Yep.
And I would imagine that either my mom or my grandma, whoever bought it, probably my grandma, saw the like the poster, which the poster definitely has a more fantastical vibe to it than the rest of the movie. I'm assuming they just saw the poster and was like, oh, it's a sequel to The Wizard of Oz. Oh, I didn't know that was a thing. Oh, I bet it'll be another Technicolor happy-go-lucky adventure with Dorothy and Toto. And I don't think they had any idea the contents of the film because, as you alluded to, I wouldn't say that I was like traumatized by this, but I definitely have like a distinct memory as a kid of watching it, and like the first scene with the Wheelers just being like, something is weird and something is wrong. This is like not, the beloved Wizard of Oz, because there's like moments in the Wizard of Oz that you could argue I think are like slightly frightening, especially like the flying monkeys and like that whole sequence. Like she tries to light the Scarecrow on fire. Like
that's freaky. Yeah,
the actress
Oz,
who plays
when they first meet the wizard too.
Yeah. That's like there's it's like they trust the audience, like they trust the kids to be able to handle like frightening things because good prevails in the end, etc. Or like the big scary thing is actually just a guy behind a curtain with like a microphone,
literally the man behind the curtain.
Yeah, trying to appear bigger than he is. But all that being said, I wouldn't say that I was like traumatized by this movie, but like it's certainly, I don't know, like plenty of people will ask you like, oh, well, like what Disney movies did you watch growing up? And like a lot of the times it'll be like, oh, I watched like Snow White or Cinderella or like Aladdin or Mulan if you're like a millennial. And I'm like, I watched shit like Return to Oz and The Great Mouse Detective and like Fox and the Hound, which are like just not particularly uplifting or happy stories, very like adult stories. And this was one of them. I did notice, I think we just talked about this guy at the Oscars party, but the poster is done by Drew Struzan.
Yep.
He died in October, and he's like famous for like those types of posters. And yeah, the Return to Oz poster is definitely in his style. That little girl does not look like Fairuza Balk also.
No, not at all. No.
It looks like they were trying to make it look as close to like Judy Garland as they could.
That could be it. Is she, it's small on my screen. Is she blonde? Because then I was like, maybe they were going, is she blonde in the poster? Kind of.
No, but I think there's like the way that he like articulated like the light.
Oh, okay.
It like her hair is like shiny, like there's like she's backlit almost.
That my other thought was that because the Dorothy in the books is blonde, so I was like, maybe he was doing that. Maybe they didn't have a Dorothy when he did the poster, but
okay.
Although I don't know. Otherwise, she's got like the same hair and everything, so it's probably what you said with the lighting and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was gonna be my next question. Was like, what? It must just be a thing of just like watching it as an adult is a different thing, but like I didn't like watching it. I was like, what are? I know that this is supposed to be scary, but I was like, what are the parts that people like reference as like, oh, that part traumatized me as a kid, but maybe. Maybe I'm just different, maybe kids
they're just built different, but who gets scared by Return to Oz?
Yeah. Maybe kids just need to nut up. I don't know.
Watching it again, because this is the first time I've seen it in quite some time. I think the Wheelers and like that main sequence when they're introduced, I think that's the part that a lot of people refer to.
Chicken!
Like the design of the mask, which I believe is probably going to be the podcast artwork. It's like
the helmet thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because that's like the
Probably.
first thing that you see of them. And then like they pop their heads up and they're like these like weird balding men with like creepy, like almost clown like makeup on. So it's like they're still kind of creepy even once you remove like the scary face of the mask. I think the other part that might have like kind of traumatized kids, or at least probably, I mean, even watching it now as an adult, definitely unsettled me, was when Dorothy goes to Queen Mombi's to find
all the heads.
She's trying to get the key, and like all the other heads are asleep. And then she opens up the cabinet and sees like Mombi's original head, and it screams when she sees her, and all the other heads like start screaming too.
Yeah.
So it's
that was the part that I thought like the most felt I could see that fucking a kid up.
But I mean, I think maybe the other part besides those two examples, I think it's just the overall look and the vibe of the movie. When she goes to Oz and gets back there, it is like run down and like desaturated in color in a way.
This is the Breath of the Wild of
yes.
of Oz.
Everything just has a sort of uncanny something is off, but you can't quite place your finger on it.
Right.
And it's like all the people are turned to stone. There's like the headless statues too. There's like an implied violence, like an implied, coup attempt or something along those lines, that like the Scarecrow has been usurped, and everything is Breath of the Wild is actually a really, really good example, because that's like precisely
I kept
what it's
thinking
like
of that watching this.
Just like the
Fallen
stone
Kingdom.
archways and like
Also, Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, like specific, like the book, but specifically adaptation wise, the BBC version as opposed to the Disney one, because that also has that was, I think, 89 or 90 or whatever, but it's on BBC, so it looks like it's like 1968 or something.
Yeah.
And like that has that, like, that is very creepy in its own way too, if you haven't seen it. And that's more because like, just because of the more like primitive like costume, they couldn't like CG everything like the Disney movies, so they like, but like all the characters other than the kids are animals. So how do they do that? And it's they kind of like catsify it, I guess. So like everybody's just like kind of creepy. But that's also set in like, the Wicked Witch, or the White Witch. God, why can't I fucking think of her? Yeah, the White Witch. I know her name is Jadis, whatever they call her. She's like taken over. Everybody's turned to stone. They go to there's like her castle or whatever. Everybody's turned to stone. The kingdom's like in ruin. So I was also those are my two like reference points watching this movie, was Breath of the Wild and specifically that BBC Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
I mean, I think even before they go to Oz, the landscape is like Great Depression or like Dust Bowl era America. So everything is like just very like downtrodden and gray. Like the landscape.
I guess she goes.
Like
she's gonna get like electroshock therapy too.
Also,
that was kind of messed up. Yeah.
As she's being like carted around the hospital where she's supposed to like basically go through electroshock therapy to make her sleep, basically, because she's having trouble sleeping because she's obsessed with Oz, because it's like very vivid to her, and she remembers it so well, and everyone is like, no, you're a kid, like you made it up, it's not real, etc. And she's like, no, it is real, blah 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 blah. And then this building is just like, it's like an asylum. And I think as she's like walking around to her room, you can just hear various instances of like all inmates or patients, if you want to call them, like screaming in the distance. Like you just hear guys going like oh, like you just hear guys, and it's very like dark and drab. Like I know it's supposed to be like early 1900s, but like everything is just so dark and drab. and like
Yeah.
desaturated, similar to like the original Wizard of Oz.
Yeah. It's got the sepia tone.
Mm-hmm.
Kansas. Yeah. Yeah, I'm really, this is another one. I don't know if you looked up Walter Murch, but this is the only movie he directed. He's another one where
Yeah.
I'm just like, I would be really interested to see a not like Charles Lawton is one that comes to mind of like,
Yeah.
I wish he made another movie just to see
Yeah.
like if it was a style or if it was a fluke, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, did you look at the IMDb trivia at all?
No, I did not.
Disney fired him a week into production because of budget concerns.
Oh.
So Murch called in the biggest hitters that he could.
Okay.
He contacted Francis Ford Coppola, Steven Spielberg, and George Lucas to help, and all three of them lobbied Disney to rehire him.
Whoa.
And it says Lucas even offered to take over directing himself should Murch fall behind schedule. Murch finished the film on schedule, though while in post-production studio management changed. But yeah, so like they did basically fire him, and he was like, Francis Ford Coppola, Steven Spielberg, and George Lucas all rallied behind him to like get him reinstated on the movie.
That's wild. What the fuck?
Because okay, well, because he's not typically a director. I mean, obviously he only directed.
I think
this movie.
he's a special effects or something like that.
It's his on his IMDb page, sound department for the English patient THX 1138, the Conversation, Apocalypse Now.
Oh, okay.
So it's like he has done. Yeah, I think he's like an audio guy.
Okay.
But it's like, for someone who works behind the scenes, who like primarily works in post-production or like sound recording, I think this is really competently directed.
Yeah.
I think the look of it, the vibe of it, everything is like really interesting. The use of stop motion as well as puppet work, I think, is also like really good and interesting. So it's like it is kind of a bummer that he never got to do another movie. Like I mean, it's not like a Charles Lawton thing where I think after the failure of his movie, did he go back to acting? Did he really have much of a career after The Night of the Hunter?
I don't remember. I don't remember what.
Like I think he was an actor beforehand, so he probably acted in other stuff. He probably like had consistent work. Like if you're an actor back then and you're in notable things, you do okay. There's always like a local theater that you can probably go to. But like it sucks when these guys have, like, you watch one of their movies and it's like the only thing they ever did, and they clearly have like a singular vision or a style. It does suck to think about the career in that area that we've basically been deprived of because something that came out at that time was not critically seen the way that's like it's the Back to the Future thing. It's like, oh, you guys didn't really like that, how your kids are gonna love it, like one of those things.
Yeah,
like Freddy got fingered, misunderstood piece of genius filmmaking.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I totally get like what you're saying, and like I like normally I think that especially like as a kid, especially if you if you as a kid like watch the Wizard of Oz like a million times and it's all bright and shiny, and then you come here and you're like, kids get distressed. They would be like, why is the Emerald City like falling apart like that? Why does it look like that? So I could see that alone. Like, it's not something outwardly scary, but it's just like upsetting. But
it's like subconscious.
Yeah. But I love the vibes. Like I really liked that, like, again, like that Breath of the Wild, because I love the world of Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, like that, going to a place and you're like, oh, this was an old jailhouse or whatever. And I thought the way that it was like portrayed here was really cool. Like where she um she well, it's like right after she gets into Oz, and she like finds that cabin that's all like disheveled and abandoned, and then like the yellow brick road is like all busted up there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like a good like setup, which I like that they start in the deadly desert, and then she goes like 20 feet and she's out of it, because the deadly desert is like huge.
Right.
But they just luckily got placed on like the edge of it or whatever. But yeah, vibes wise, I thought I really dug that the melancholy. Like, yeah, it's like thinking of it as a kids movie, I'm like, I might have questions, but like me watching it now, I was like, I really like that. I like the tone.
Yeah,
I like it's
like
different.
a dark gothic fantasy movie.
Yeah,
like that's aimed towards kids. It's like it's a sequel to a beloved movie, but it's its own thing.
Yeah,
and yeah, that the dark fantasy element, yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah, which I also really liked that I don't know exactly how to phrase it, but like I feel for a movie like The Wizard of Oz, it's again, like classic, loved by many. It's everybody's seen it, very iconic. And then like 50 years later, you're gonna make a sequel to it. It's almost like you're setting yourself up to fail, because everybody's just gonna like it'd be like, I don't know. I'm trying to think of if they've done any other, and I'm not thinking of like Wicked or Oz the Great and Powerful. I'm trying to think of some other IP. I don't know. It'd be like, oh, we're gonna make Casablanca 2, or something like that, or
some like it hotter.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, you're kind of setting yourself up to be compared to the original and fail. And I guess at the time it didn't do that well. Maybe because of that. But I felt like this was about as for what it is, for it being a 50-year on sequel to a beloved classic. It's like it's about as appropriate, I guess, is a word that I could say. Like it really feels like a sequel to The Wizard of Oz, but not one that's like, it's like yeah. I said I didn't really know how to phrase it, but it's my kind of sequel to a movie, whereas like I don't like, because like I watched the Austin Powers trilogy recently, and I was like, I watched the first one. I was like, this movie's great. This is still really funny. It really holds up. I was like, but I don't think people like the sequels as much. But why is that? And then I get to the sequels, and they're like almost beat for beat retreads of the first one, and like a majority of the jokes are just like almost verbatim repeats from the first movie. It's like, okay, that's what it is. And like, or the Star Wars sequel trilogy, they're just, Force Awakens is basically a remake of A New Hope.
Right.
The Last Jedi tries to do its own thing, but they're too safe. They're playing it too safe. They're like, oh, we got to make it as Star Wars as possible. We can't
stray too far from the formula that works. That, because if we go too far away, people don't recognize it. It doesn't like give them that same warm and fuzzy feeling that the original thing gave them. So it's like, if we go a little too far away, people aren't gonna like it.
Yeah, I think I should have went with Star Wars is like the perfect. That's what I should have started with. That's the perfect kind of encapsulation of like too scared to do anything. Like, no, we're not gonna make an Old Republic movie. Nobody cares about that. Yes, that would be cool. Please do that. Do a legacy. Do a Star Wars legacy show or something. Like, do something other than something that takes place. You have a galaxy.
You have a literal galaxy during the events of like Luke and Leia and Han
on the planets that and it's stupid. And this is like, it's not afraid to be like melancholy. Okay. It's not a musical, but it still, even though it is so different tonally, it still feels exactly like The Wizard of Oz in a way to me, or like it feels like an honest, genuine sequel to that.
Yeah.
Even though it's way different.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I was just gonna say, let me know if this comparison works.
Okay.
Wizard of Oz is Texas Chainsaw Massacre, directed by Tobe Hooper.
Okay.
Return to Oz is Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, directed by Tobe Hooper.
Sure. That's not bad. Yeah.
Where it's
that's not bad.
It's like that's his vision of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And the first one is like very like sweaty and pulpy and uncomfortable and unnerving and gross and violent and brutal. And Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 has Dennis Hopper dual wielding giant chainsaws, and they're like fighting in like a carnival underground or some shit.
Yeah.
So it's like,
but it still works as a sequel.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
And then I think that movie wasn't that movie critically like panned when it came out because
I don't know,
like this is silly, or like it's stupid because like they thought it was going to be similar, like because like every other Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie, I guess you'd be the expert on this because you watched them all, but I feel like every other Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie other than Tobe Hooper's 2 is basically trying to capture the same vibe as the first one. It's like a bunch of kids getting killed by Leatherface. He's like killing them with a chainsaw, meat hooks, like all the like brutal grotesquerie is like they're trying to do. They're more in like that vein.
Yeah, I would argue that maybe 4, which is the Next Generation, the one with Matthew McConaughey and Renee Zellweger, that one, it's not an outright just like wacky comedy like the second one is, but it is extremely campy. And and I like that one too. I think that one's that one might be my third favorite actually after those first two. But yeah, not exactly the same. Takes itself a little bit more seriously, but that one ends with like, oh, what is it? There's like, I think they like kill the, they beat the killers or whatever, and then like this dude in a suit like shows up in a limo, and you find out that they're like the Sawyer family are like actually they work for, like they're part of this basically like the Illuminati. And they're like doing this to like appease their overlords or something like that. It's some weird shit like that.
That's weird. Awesome though. I love that shit.
Yeah. That's that type of shit that I think is why a lot of people hate those movies in particular, like the Next Generation and 2. It's because they just want like the remake or the original one and stuff. It's like they want
like the both. Big Mac that they've had a million times. Not to say that like Texas Chainsaw 1 is a Big Mac, but like Big Mac's a good sandwich. I like a Big Mac. It's pretty good. The mac sauce is good.
It's a Five Guys burger. We'll say that.
It's Five Guys. Okay, but it's like
at least for me because I love that first one.
What I'm saying is like it's like, but do you want to have a Big Mac every single time?
Right.
Like there's different burgers.
There's chicken sandwiches.
Of burgers. Yeah, there's chicken. There's chicken.
That was something else that I thought was kind of cool. That like the easy route is, at least for the the Tin Man, the ones who are in the Wizard of Oz. The easy route is just cast a popular face at the time and do them the same way that they did the, just actors with like face paint.
An
easy way to get butts in seats. But I really like that everybody is very accurate to book illustrations. So that's why like the Scarecrow and the Tin Man look different, and I mean the lion's just a lion. Yeah. So I thought that was kind of cool. And again, that's like, it's not afraid to not just fully copy the original one. It's like, no, we're going to base it on the books. And yeah, because like I said, they probably, I feel like that was a cheat code if they'd have just done the same method as the original. Like, if we do want to bring up Wicked, like that's, I don't know, like the second the second act or the second movie, which is like the second half of the play, is just like basically a retread of The Wizard of Oz. It's like, it's partly why I hate Wicked is everything that's like the absolute opposite of this. It's like, no, we're just gonna be like, remember all this stuff? Oh, the Wicked Witch. Well, what did she was good? Remember her? Remember Glinda? Remember the wizard? Remember the Yellow Brick Road? Remember the Emerald City? And then the second half is literally just the Wizard of Oz again, but just from the witch's perspective. It's just like, remember all these scenes?
Do like the Memento thing where it's like you see it from like the different perspectives, and then whoa, it comes together in the middle. No, I was gonna reference the Red Letter Media thing. I don't know if you've watched it was like one of their Beyond the Black Void videos, but they were like talking about all the random little side characters, and Mike would be like, oh, the Wicked Witch, what's her story?
Oh, I know the meme at least, yeah.
But that's the first thing I thought of was just like, Toto, what's his story? Like you gotta contextualize every little thing. Like no stone like unturned from the original movie. It's like there's gonna be like the Disney Plus like Lollipop Guild mini series where you learn the dark gritty backstory of how they became the Lollipop Guild.
It's just called the Guild.
That's really good.
Yeah.
I have nothing to add to that. That's really good.
That's the Wicked method. This is like this goes the Last Jedi route, and which is why that's probably the movie in the sequel trilogy. That's the one that I like respect the most post finishing of the sequel trilogy. But this does, like with Toto, it does what they do at the beginning of The Last Jedi, where Force Awakens ends with Rey giving Luke his lightsaber back, and that's like the cliffhanger. And then you get to Last Jedi and he throws it. He just like throws it away.
Yeah.
That's what this one's like. Here's Toto. She's hanging out with Toto a little bit, and then nope. Instead, it's gonna be a talking chicken. Toto's not gonna be in this movie.
Toto, take your bitch ass home, and he does, and he goes away.
Yeah. Which was it fully sets it up like he's gonna, because you can tell that it's like a trained like actor dog. They have him do some fun.
Yeah, like he pops up in the window and chases their little carriage down the road, and
his little howl was really sad when she's taken away.
Go home.
Because like this is another movie where I was watching in the living room, and like Chloe made herself dinner, and she was like, "Oh well, I guess I'll watch a little bit of this." She ended up watching like the first hour of it, and like when I got to that part where like they leave behind Toto, she like looked at me like, I'm like, I'm sorry. Again, it's not necessarily like a traumatizing thing, but as a little kid, it's like a cute dog. It gets left behind. It's like sad.
Yeah.
It's very like early on, the movie is very clearly like setting a tone of kind of just bleakness and despair a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Like their house is in disrepair, and Uncle Henry is like injured. And so it's like they have to rebuild their house because it's like the repercussions of the tornado from the first movie.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, it's like that melancholy, and then you got the next to like the talking chicken, like, well, where do we go now, Dorothy? Like,
yeah, exactly.
I did notice.
Yeah, no, it'll be like all of her. She's like learning that all of her friends are dead, and the chickens is like, well, we better scramble out of here. Like, it's like, okay, now is not the time, Belina.
I did notice there was a couple times where I noticed Fairuza Balk was, and my thought was like, I wonder if these were like the first scenes they shot, but then they decided to go a different route. But I noticed there's moments here and there where she sounds like she's doing her best to Judy Garland, like when when she finds when she discovers the yellow brick road.
Oh, no.
It's just a yellow brick.
No, Belina, you don't understand. This was the yellow brick road.
Oh.
So my thinking was like, I wonder if they shot those scenes first and they were like, give him a little Judy. And then, but then they were like, maybe not.
It's too annoying to keep up.
Maybe.
So I don't know. Just do it on your own. Cause
she did a pretty good job of the little snippets. She did sound like her.
Yeah. Again, on the IMDb trivia, apparently they casted or they auditioned thousands of girls that age, and I think Fairuza Balk was picked because I think she closely resembled what Judy Garland would have looked like around at that age. I think she kind of has maybe the slightly upturned nose. I mean, obviously she's got the pigtails, but I think she kind of looks like
the
her
big
too.
eyes, very striking eyes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which it's cool that she also had a career after this.
Mm-hmm.
Because usually child actors from movies like this, they would do 2 movies and then they're like, well, I guess I'm gonna be a dentist or something in college.
Isn't that what? I don't know if you were referencing. Isn't that what Charlie did? Isn't he didn't he become a dentist or something? Yeah.
Yeah. And then I think the actor who played Dewey on Malcolm in the Middle.
Yeah.
He did a few movies post Malcolm, and then I think he just went to school and he's just working a normal job now.
Yeah, no, I think he's in Harvard. He's going for his master's now.
That's crazy.
That's what I read. Because I was just looking him up with the new Malcolm in the Middle thing coming up, and
the guy that they got to replace him looks a lot like Dewey. He the guy that they got to replace him, I think, is pretty accurate.
Yeah, I think so. You got the.
I hope that's good. I hope that's good. I love the OG Malcolm in the Middle.
Yeah, I was probably because I was looking that stuff up. I've been getting Malcolm in the Middle clips on YouTube, so I've been watching them.
I've been
show's good. It's
getting
pretty funny.
Dewey Core videos.
Dewey Core.
Oh shit. I'm looking at the work print of the Return to Oz on my other monitor. I couldn't find it for free streaming, so it's just Fairuza Balk standing in front of a big blue screen.
Oh.
When she's in the desert.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, this is really interesting to see. It's on the Internet Archive if you want to look it up. But apart from the blue screen, all of the rocks and the water and the sand is it's all there. It's all there. I think a lot of the locations. Oh god, that means they built that on a soundstage. That's nuts. That's a huge.
Is it Jim Henson? Did they do the effects?
I don't know if I don't know if Henson did the effects, but I know Brian Henson is a voice.
Yeah,
I think he's Jack Pumpkinhead.
That's why I was wondering that. I meant to look that up.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Brian Henson maybe helped out with some of it, because the way that Jack Pumpkinhead moves around, and the way that all of the inanimate creatures move, they do a really good job of it. I think even in scenes where TikTok has to move around, it's okay, this is a big ass prop. How do you puppeteer a pile of metal cauldrons to move around and make it look convincing? But
I think that might have been an R2D2 sitch. I feel like they had to have had a guy just walking around in him.
You think so? Okay. There you know what? There might have been.
Yeah, I love that shot where I rewound that a few times because I was like, what? Obviously that is they marionetted Jack for this shot, and otherwise I think when he's moving around, it's somebody in a suit. But the shot where she first meets him and he's in a pile on the floor kind of, and then he stands up, his limbs kind of snap into place and he stands up and he's so tall. I thought that was a really cool shot.
Yeah.
A really cool moment. Yeah, maybe there was a consulting thing or some reason that Brian Henson was in it, but I mean, he did do he has done voice work, I think primarily for Muppet stuff, but you know.
Yeah.
That could be why too. No, the art directors were Charles Bishop and Fred Hole.
Well, that's an unfortunate name there, Fred Hole.
Yeah.
Damn, I want a lunch pail tree. That shit's so cool.
Yeah. That's cool. Oh no, I know I was gonna say that I also going on like the effects and stuff. I also thought that Belina was like really like convincingly done. I like not that it's like it's perfect, like you can see, but like it looked pretty good and pretty convincing for a little puppet chicken, and the way that they blend. They cut to some shots and it's a chicken, like when Dorothy's just like walking with her or something, or when it's got to like move around. But yeah, I thought she's pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty well done.
I think I read that they had like 20 or 30 different chickens that all looked exactly like that.
Mm.
And they all had like different like tasks that they did. Like they had a chicken that was good at running, they had a chicken that was good at like kind of hanging out. There was like a chicken that was like good at being handled. Sorry, I have the work print version up on the other screen, and you know all the scenes that they do where they cut to like the stony face talking to the Gnome King?
Yeah.
Where it's like no, Gnome King, she got out of the desert and she's approaching the Emerald City.
And she has a chicken.
Yeah. Before they like did the stop motion animation, in the work print, it's just a guy talking.
Oh, that's funny.
Like maybe they filmed it so they could like base the Rock's facial expressions on. But I just couldn't.
Is he painted up or whatever? Does he?
He's standing in front of something that has like it almost looks like the Dreamatorium from Community. Like he's kind of got like a little grid behind him. And yeah, he's just like he's kind of like very animatedly talking like he would.
That's fun.
That's crazy. I wonder where someone who worked on the movie must have had this and like uploaded it, because it's kind of interesting to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the way that they articulate the Belina puppet and like make the eyes blink and make it kind of talk, because I feel like a lot of the times in like those movies, and maybe the technology wasn't there yet in the 80s, but for a lot of these like talking animal movies, they would just sort of like superimpose a mouth over the chicken's mouth and just like have a human just do it. But yeah, like actually crafting a puppet and like giving it points of articulation to do that is really neat. At one point, I wrote down TikTok is hardcore, and I don't remember exactly why I wrote that, but I'm guessing it has to do with like some of the shit that he said when she first meets him and like brings him back to life. I feel like he was like spitting some hot fire.
Or when he beats the shit out of all the Wheelers too.
Yeah, he does. He's like spinning around.
I don't remember what he says, but I think there's the one that they capture, and then he's like, I'm pretty sure TikTok is like, yeah, we should just kill this guy. Or like what Dorothy says to like let him go once he's like given him the information thereafter, and TikTok's like, well, he's gonna just be shitty again or something.
Yeah. No, here's a good one. The lead Wheeler says, "You'll be sorry for treating me like this. I'm a terrible person." TikTok says, "I am only a machine, so I cannot be sorry or happy no matter what happens." It's like, damn, dude. That's kind of bleak.
He's just a Sigma.
Yeah. Yeah, TikTok does not cortisol spike at all. He is straight the only Mogs.
Yep.
This is where you make like the TikTok fan cam hype beast edit, where it's just like You get like the YouTube shorts like editing style where it's just like and he's just like spinning and like beating the shit out of people.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a lot of good lines that again kind of made it feel very like authentic to the original, like, and you know, it is going from the same source material, so if you're just using that language that L. Frank Baum used, that's, you know, I guess that would happen. But again, it's just nice to see it because it does make it feel more part of the same world as opposed to Wicked, which is just this movie like just reignited my hatred for shit like Wicked, like, and how it's just like it is just like a fan fiction bullshit that like really feels like I've always thought this, but then again, like watching this and kind of like I kind of want to reread the book set that I had as a kid, because I was like, after watching this, I was like diving into like the wiki for like the book series and like because like I said, I've only read a few, but just kind of reminding myself of it because I've read at least one or two with the Gnome King, because the Gnome King is like the primary antagonist of the like the Oz book series.
Okay.
And yeah, I just kind of like yeah, these are just cool old like books that I, you know, they're cool. I like this world. I like a good fantasy world. But anyways, the dialogue that I liked that felt very true to source. There's one where it's when they're like in the tower and they're making the gump, and then TikTok starts talking all like crazy because his brain action winds down, and Dorothy says
His brains ran down.
Oh, if his brains ran down, how could he talk?
It happens to people all the time, Jack.
Yeah.
And then another one that I wrote down was when the Gump falls apart and they like crash land on the mountain above the Gnome King's keep or whatever. And it's the whole conversation is just like good line after good line. But the one that I wrote down was,
every head must have a body if it expects to get around.
Doesn't look like there's much of any place to get around to.
It's just those really fun, like, I don't know what you want to call them, but they're just like that sort of comedic, like, matter of fact, like, you're not wrong, I guess. Yeah, that's very
saying something
very
absurd, but like
in a very matter of fact way. Yeah, maybe that's it. Like, they're like, I would also reference like Chronicles of Narnia again. There's a lot of dialogue that's like akin to that in that. Lord of the Rings, a lot of like the Hobbit dialogue and Lord of the Rings movie like that.
Like I feel like I've tried to read The Hobbit several times, and it's not like it's a difficult book. I just never commit to it. But I feel like a lot of the like conversations between like Gandalf and Bilbo, or even in like The Lord of the Rings, Gandalf and Frodo, it's like this very like kind of clever, tricky wordplay, like double meaning type like banter.
Yeah, it's like it's a meme, but so is like every 5 seconds of the Lord of the Rings trilogy. But one that, you know, that Gandalf says is, "A wizard is never late."
Yeah.
Or what is it? A wizard is never late. He arrives precisely when he means to.
Yes. Or the thing that Bilbo says before he disappears, where he's like, "I like half of you as much." I forget the exact line. You know what I'm talking about? It's like right before he puts the ring on and disappears, and he's like, "I don't know half of you half as well as I should like, and I like less than half of you half as well as you deserve."
Yes.
And like that is like one of those lines that it's like it sounds like very clever, and you have to think about it for a second. And like even everyone in the movie, they're like, everyone kind of gives him like a way, and then he disappears. But it's like that kind of like there's like a certain flow to it too, the way like the wordplay works.
Or like I'm trying to think of like ones from Wizard of Oz. I feel like when the wizard like is revealed and he's actually like giving them their rewards or whatever, he's like he prefaces all of them with like a reason why they shouldn't be like, oh, the Scarecrow, you don't have brains. Well, that's not a big deal. Or like the Tin Man, he's like, oh, you don't have a heart. He's like, well, you should consider that a good thing. He's like, hearts will never be practical until they're made unbreakable. And and he does that for each of them. I can't remember what he says to each of them, but that kind of stuff. These little like fun turns of phrases that are very, very particular to like children's fantasy like this.
Yes.
And this was like full of it, and it helps make the characters endearing in the same way of like, you have a whole new cast of, not Dorothy notwithstanding, new cast of fantasy characters, and you meet them one by one, so it does copy some of the traits of the original one, right? Like she meets 3 companions. She has an animal with her that she brings from Kansas, and then she meets 3 companions, and she meets them like almost scene after scene after scene, like boom boom boom, and they just have some conversations, and they end up being very like charming and endearing, and that dialogue helps with that a lot.
And then another way that it sort of follows some of the conventions of the first movie is that some of the characters you meet before she goes to Oz come in as mostly the villains. Because in the original Wizard of Oz, the Tin Man, the Scarecrow, and the Cowardly Lion are all like the farmhands that she meets in Kansas.
Zeke, and Hickory.
Yes.
Names. Yeah.
And then in this, the Gnome King is the doctor that's trying to electrocute her, and then Queen Mombi is the nurse.
The nurse. Yeah.
Yeah, the creepy nurse that tries to she chases her, and is it Ozma? Is that who it's like revealed to be?
Yeah. Ozma's the little girl. Yeah.
Meant to be like the Princess of Oz or something like that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
So it's like they give you enough of like the familiar conventions of the first movie but like still kind of charting their own path and doing their own thing.
Yeah. It doesn't. I mean, well, like I said before, that like I like it because it doesn't feel like a retread, but you can still have things like that. But like the story of overall, like again, another easy thing that they could have done is just like, let's just have the Wicked Witch be the bad guy again.
Yeah.
They're like, no, that's not how the books go. These guys are in these ones, and
and I think if they had done that, this would have been like a much more forgettable movie. I don't think it would have been as like interesting to talk about. It was basically,
I don't think I would have liked it as
retread.
much.
Yeah.
Because again, then I would just be like, if you do something like that with me, if it's like I love the Wizard of Oz, the original one is, I think it's it is what it is. I love that movie. And if they did that again, like Wicked, I'm just like, I'm just thinking of that movie. You're just making me think of a better movie. That doesn't make this movie good. It just makes me wish I was watching that movie instead.
Yes. Oh, the Wheelers are the guys in the straitjackets too at the hospital.
Oh, okay.
Because like when she's being taken to her room, there's like one of those guys is like pushing one of the carts, and he's wearing like a straitjacket type deal behind him, and it's got like the strings. And I think it's like the same actor who plays like the lead Wheeler.
Nice. Okay. Yeah. I didn't catch that one.
Yeah, it was definitely a good good decision on their part to like not just retread the original, because God, it just would have been boring,
Pointless.
yeah, but yeah, pointless really. We sort of touched on like the sets, but man, when she's in like Mombi's like castle,
Mm-hmm.
some of the sets are so cool and like gorgeous,
Yeah.
and again kind of gives you a sense of unease and like off
How
kilteredness.
empty it is.
Yes, but like the
That like
so, like,
main hallway where she's like playing the fiddle or whatever.
yeah. And,
Yeah,
but like
the first
everything is
one.
like glass. Everything is like made
Yeah.
out of glass. And it's like the room is like huge and empty except for her sitting on like the little sofa.
Yeah.
The
that's
room
really
with all the heads, I think, is like visually very striking too.
Mm-hmm.
And then the near the end of the movie when she's trying to like guess where like the Tin Man and the Scarecrow
Mhm.
are trapped in like the little trinkets and tchotchkes.
Yeah.
That room is also like, that was almost giving me like Wind Waker vibes. Like when you go to Hyrule Castle,
Hyrule Castle, yeah.
it's like very like ornate decorations everywhere, but
Yeah.
it's like
that's-
feels frozen in time almost. Yeah, just every choice that they made with like the sets and the designs was like
Mhm.
it's so cool.
Yeah, no, good shout. Good bringing that up, because that I forgot about that, but yes, that is really, really cool. Yeah, the door like closes from like 3 ways. That's really neat.
Yep.
I'm sure this scene was probably a nightmare to film too. With
To
all
not catch the camera in
those
it.
yeah. Yeah.
But it's worth
got
it.
that
And I'm
huge-
they did it.
Yeah. Yeah. But I like that the Gnome King, he like when they first get into like the cave, he's like in the rock face.
Yes.
And
yes.
then he like kind of starts forming out of it. And then he's like he's like a big like stop motion guy. And
Mhm.
then he like kind of over the course of the scene, he becomes like more and more human to where he's
it's like
just
as they guess
the actor
wrong.
painted. Yeah, he's like, I don't know if that's just showing him like that's him at ease because he's like, oh, I won, or I
Yeah,
don't think
yeah,
that's it being like, no, he's becoming a human, because that's not like ever a part of
Yeah.
his thing. I think it was just kind of a artistic choice or whatever. Because then as soon as there's a point where he's like, oh yeah, I won, I got this in the bag.
Yeah, yeah.
And he's just a guy with a beard, and he's painted gray. But then like as soon as she gets the Scarecrow,
he reverts back.
His beard and hair is like or clay again or whatever. And
Yeah. I'm glad you brought that scene up, because the last thing I want to say is he absolutely slayed when he pulled up his little skirt and he's wearing the ruby slipper.
Yes, dude.
I was like, more
He's
like
like,
the
"Oh,
gnome
these?"
queen.
Yeah, I forgot about that. That was great.
Are you sure you didn't come back for these?
My ruby slipper.
No. My ruby slippers. They're very powerful.
So I take it the whole chicken egg thing is true in the books. Like if he eats a chicken egg, it like kills him, or like it's like his.
No, but he
Okay.
thinks it will. That's the whole thing, though. He thinks that it does, so he's afraid of them.
Oh, okay.
But I'm pretty sure that there were like bits that, you know, it wasn't like 100% faithful. Like, well, for
Right.
instance, like the Mombi, because it's based on 2 books. Queen Mombi is in the 2nd book, and the Gnome King is in the 3rd book. So
Okay.
and it's funny because it's like almost like right in the middle of the movie is where they escape from Mombi and start heading to the Gnome King.
Mm.
That's like right in the middle. So it's like it's a good like, okay, so first half is book 1, second half is book 2, and So they do some story switcheroos to meld their stories together.
Right.
And like, because Queen Mombi is just her own thing. She's not like a servant of the Gnome King. They're just separate villains. Okay. All right. Ready to rate?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I initially on Letterboxd gave it a 7. But I was kind of thinking this at the time, and I think like after sitting with it, I think I'm gonna change it to an 8. 'Cause I was at least like once they get to Oz, I was like really, really liked the tone and the vibe and just like all that stuff I was saying, reminding me of the other kind of dystopian or like post-apocalyptic fantasy stuff, Breath of the Wild and Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe stuff. Lord of the Rings to an extent. So I like that vibe, and then I love the characters. Very simple fantasy story, but I like the characters, and then again, I'm glad you brought up like the set design, because that was really good. Just the special effects in general were really impressive. It's still like a different place in my mind than like the Wizard of Oz, but I'm just surprised that I liked, because that is like one of those kind of sacred cows to me. For movies where it's like, there's some things that you shouldn't really like touch, and like if this was a remake of the Wizard of Oz, it might feel a little differently. I don't know. But like I wouldn't have expected to like something else in it as much as I like this, but it's probably because it's not trying to just like copy that. It makes me wish, like when I finished it, I was like, fuck, I wish this did well and they made more like this. More like if there was like another Return to Oz or two, like in the 80s. If they had the same quality to them, and would have been really cool to see some more good Oz stuff.
Yeah, get like Jim Henson's crew on there, like Dark Crystal type shit, like that type of like puppeteering work and like that sort of tone. Yeah.
And just like the amount of work that they put into just like little things, like again, like making Belina feel so like lifelike and realistic. It makes me want for the older days. I put that in my Letterboxd reviews where I was just like, I'm not always that type of person of like, oh man, movies suck nowadays. Movies were so much better back then. But like, again, you compare it to its modern its modern analogs or whatever, with like Wicked or Oz the Great and Powerful, and they're just these fucking like ugly, sloppy I know visual effects artists, like CG artists, like they put a ton of work into it, but like a lot of it there's just no soul behind it. It's not the same, or it doesn't feel like there's as much soul to it behind like the type of work that feels like put into this, and that's more like a studio thing than like the visual artists, the visual effects artists themselves, I would say. But anyways, I kind of went off on another tangent there, but
no, you're good.
8, really good. Really liked it.
I'm pretty much right in the same boat. I think I'm also giving it an 8. I have a lot of nostalgia for this movie. This is like spending the night at grandma's house, like watching it in the living room with my siblings kind of movie, and probably, on some level, us recognizing the sort of off-kilteredness and weirdness of it, but not really like thinking too hard about it. I just always knew it as like, Return to Oz is another Wizard of Oz movie, and some people will look at you like, what's Return to Oz, But yeah, watching it, as an adult and more of like, I guess a seasoned moviegoer, or like watching it more critically for like the pod, it was like, yeah, I was really taken aback by how every detail was like, it felt so specific and it felt so lived in, like all the little details of the world, all the characterizations, the puppet work, the locations, the set design, all of that stuff just really made it something special. And it's unfortunate that director never really got to do anything else after that, because it was such a, kind of a flop at the time, a commercial failure. But I do think like the legacy of this movie has lived on now, and I do think it's partly because so many kids watched it when they were young, and it is kind of a fever dream movie. Like this is the type of movie that someone would go on Reddit and it would be like, I don't know, I think there's like a Reddit called like Tip of My Tongue, or like there's like subreddits for like trying to remember things from your childhood. A lot of it's like video games. It's like, I played this really weird computer game. Does anyone else remember it? And then you'll describe it and someone will be like, oh yeah, it's this one game from like 1995. I feel like Wizard of Oz is one of those movies, or Return to Oz is one of those movies where you could do it, where you're like, it's like this movie where there's like these guys have wheels for hands, and there's like a robot and a big like stone guy and a queen with like multiple heads. Like it has all the like makings of a movie where someone could just as easily convince themselves that they like hallucinated it as a child, But everything about it is really great. Also shout out Piper Laurie. I love Piper Laurie. She's great in Carrie. She's great in Twin Peaks. I like seeing her and stuff. So everyone's great in this. This is really cool.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, just real quick, just got a real quick shout out for a show that maybe you could watch, but also you don't really like feel super great after watching it. So like, I don't know, maybe don't watch it if you're not in like a good headspace. So I've been watching HBO's new show Neighbors. It is a documentary series produced by Josh Safdie and Ronald Bronstein, two of the guys that have worked on like stuff like Good Time and Uncut Gems and Marty Supreme most recently. They're producing it, and there's these other two guys that are mostly like directing it. But it is a docu-series about just various people in America having property or neighborly disputes with their neighbors. And each episode kind of gives you two different cases, and they kind of bob and weave in between each. First episode, it's like people that live in Florida. I've noticed a common denominator in these, and it's people who live in Florida. They should investigate something about what's going on down there, because that is like a through line in all of these stories for the most part. But like the first episode, it's like a bunch of like rich people that live on beaches. Since like the property extends out to the beach, they treat that as like a private beach, and so like beachgoers are really only allowed to go down like a certain segment, and like some of these people are like freaks about it, where like if you take too many steps into like their private beach, like they get pissed about it. At one point in that episode, like a First Amendment auditor guy shows up and starts filming, and he gets into like a scuffle with somebody else, because of course they do. Like those dudes just attract that shit naturally. But what I think is like the most interesting part of this show is that it's very similar to something like The Rehearsal or like Nathan For You, where Nathan Fielder just has this way of getting people to reveal things about themselves or opinions that they have about things that you would never in a million years expect. And that's kind of the thrust of the show, is like you get the basic information of like what the property dispute is about, and then you just meet these characters. Like in the first episode, it's like these guys are fighting over like a roadway that goes through this guy's farmland. And it's like he puts a gate up so the guy's horses don't get through. But then he's like, that's a road. People are supposed to be able to drive through it, whatever. And so they hire like a mediator. And this guy shows up and he looks like, have you seen Raising Arizona?
Yeah.
You know the motorcycle guy that like he like shoots the rabbit? That's what this
Talk about childhood trauma. That guy scared the shit out of me when I was a little kid. Yeah. I don't know why I watched that movie when I was so young, but
that's what like this mediator looks like. So he shows up to like mediate this conversation between these two people fighting. These two guys like start yelling at each other. They like start threatening each other. That's another through line. Everyone has guns and everyone is like waiting on the day that their neighbor shoots and kills them. They assume that they're going to be like killed all the time over these property disputes. But like these two guys meet together to like argue about this thing. The mediator stands there like this and does not say a single word. And then like the guys' wives eventually pull them apart from yelling at each other, and they both just go their separate ways. And the mediator's just like, yep, he gets on his motorcycle and leaves. Like he didn't do shit. He didn't say a single goddamn thing the entire time.
Sweet.
But it's like all the characters feel very much like people that would be in the rehearsal in the second season, like that one pilot who just very nonchalantly mentions that he's like banned on every single dating app, and you're like,
yeah,
oh, excuse me, huh?
Yeah.
And again, in the most recent episode that I just watched, it's like about these two women who were friends are fighting over like a patch of land that's like this big on their property line. Like it's like a patch of dirt. And like you follow this woman, and she goes to like a gun dealership to like buy a gun. And like the guy who's like selling it to her is just, I feel like he's like encouraging her, just like, yeah, you know, you never know when it's going to happen. So it's like, it's better to protect yourself, which I feel like if someone comes into me and I'm working at a gun dealership and they're just like, I'm having this dispute with my neighbor and I want to buy a gun for no other like for completely unrelated reasons. It's like, there should be a period where you have to like cool off before I can sell this to you.
Yeah.
But then that guy who works at the gun store is also a mediator and shows up to mediate the two women, like to like discuss their grievances with each other. It's like, it's so funny that a guy who's like works at a gun dealership is like moonlighting also as a mediator for like disputes. So yeah, it's really interesting in that way. Like, I think it's like a really revealing look at the inner lives of like the most like lead paint inhibited boomers that like own everything in this country. These people have like beautiful properties, beautiful homes, and they are so full of hatred and rage at their like fellow neighbor that like everyone is constantly filming each other. Everyone has Ring cameras, everyone has guns, and everyone is extremely paranoid that their neighbor is going to record them and upload it to TikTok. And like it's like people are inducing like gang stalking. They're like it's like a self-induced gang stalking. I think I said it when we were filming the other day, but I'm pretty much like a Maoist now, and I think that private property should just be abolished and absorbed by the state. Yeah. Like it's insane. It's everything that's like good about The Rehearsal and Nathan For You, minus all of like those kind of off-kilter charming things about those people. It's just the bad elements of that stuff. Yeah, every episode is like extremely harrowing to watch, but it's also very, very funny. So like, you know, watch at your own discretion. I think it's really interesting, but also
kind of interesting, yeah.
Like it's gonna make you like angry and sad and feel extremely depressed that like these are like property owners. It's like home ownership feels so out of reach for like me, and I think a lot of people like kind of our age, as just like
yes,
jobs and opportunities and wealth inequality. And then it's just like you watch this show and you see the people that do have wealth and that do have money and have these gorgeous homes, and they're the most hate-filled people. They're all victims. They are all in their own worlds. They are like the greatest victim, and they must defend their castle with their life.
Yeah.
It's like people who've like essentially won the lottery compared to like people our age.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I think it's worth a watch. I think it's really good, but it'll make you
That
feel a
sounds
little
like
bit less about your maybe fellow boomer.
Yeah, that sounds like the kind of like trash TV that I would like eat up. So.
Oh, it's so goddamn funny sometimes. Like
Yeah. Yeah, I'll and
I
it's
think it's only like 6
half-hour
episodes, they're like 30 minutes.
I mean that's
yeah.
hell yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll probably be watching that at some point.
It's so crazy sometimes.
Yeah, that sounds like my kind of like like TV because I do watch a lot of garbage TV. And then we both watched a movie that everybody's watched, I guess.
That's
It
true.
is pretty popular. It's a Project Hail Mary. It's based on a book by Andy Weir. Have you read that or The Martian or?
I've read The Martian and I've seen The Martian, and I liked
Okay.
both of those things. I have some issues.
I actually. Yeah. Oh, with what? I'm interested.
I think I saw The Martian before I read the book, but the way that Andy
Okay.
Weir writes his characters, I can tell that he is like a very smart, huge nerd. And so like the way that he writes his characters is it has that like dated 2012 like Marvel humor that's like he's right behind me, isn't he? Like those kind of like quips that I'm like
There's a
like,
bit of that, yes.
but Ryan Gosling in Project Hail Mary I think Ryan Gosling is just like so effortlessly funny and charming
Yeah.
that like it elevates.
Yeah, he makes it work.
That Reddit humor,
For the
and he makes it good. So
Yeah. No, that's probably my biggest gripe with this one is that
it's a little too much.
some of the humor works,
Yeah.
but some of it doesn't too. It was like a 50-50 whether it was going to be like, oh, brother,
Yeah.
or a ha ha ha. That was funny.
Yeah.
And I think kind of the same with The Martian. But I'll say I love the book The Martian, but I think the movie is just okay. I definitely like this movie. I think between the two books, I prefer The Martian for sure. Although the Project Hail Mary book is good too. But I prefer the movie Project Hail Mary over The Martian for sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Because this one like very nearly got me to like enjoy it like a lot, but I'm just under that. And again, I think part of that is because of the humor, which is pretty prevalent, just not always working for me. But there's a lot of cool stuff. I still need to like look into it, but I keep hearing people say that like they didn't use any CG on this, and that's insane if that's true. Like Rocky is, I guess, all practical, which I could see that,
Yeah.
But then like all this, I'm like, that can't include the space stuff, right? Like when they're floating through that like neon, the one where they have to like collect the particles or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm like, there's probably some CG there. I don't know.
Yeah, or
I don't
like
know what they
when Rocky's like
mean
rolling
by...
around in the crystal ball thing, I'm like, how did you do that?
Right, yeah. I want, that's why I still need to like look into it, but I keep hearing that being said, and I'm like, okay, but is there like an asterisk to that, like no CG except here and there?
Yeah.
And it's also like the book too, obviously. But in both cases, the book and the movie, it's like, it's one of those where like the whole like Rocky character is this very, I mean, it's funny because he's a rock, but he's a very cute little guy, and his and Ryan Gosling's relationship is very cute, and it's like a good relationship. And the whole time, like when I was reading the book or when I was watching the movie, I'm like, I know what you're doing. You're playing up these, like, it feels very like I could see Andy Weir when he was writing the book being like, oh yeah, people are going to eat this shit up if I have like an anthropomorphic little guy who can't talk, and he does funny things, and he does a thumbs down instead of a thumbs up. He does all these funny, silly little things. People are going to eat that shit up. And I'm like, yeah, I know you're doing that, but yes, I do eat it up, because I did. That is like the best part of it to me, is their dynamic and their relationship, and then just the fun, like, nerdy space stuff. And that's why I like the book of The Martian a lot more. I feel like the Martian movie loses a lot of the science-y stuff. Yeah. This one keeps it a bit more, because that's like my favorite stuff about his writing, is like, I love the nerdy space science.
Well, I think Andy Weir like worked for NASA.
Yes, I think so.
It's
or
like,
something.
I think a lot of the science in the books is like it does have a like it's tethered to like real science. So it's, I mean, it's obviously like fantastical, but like there's an element of realism. You're like, this could kind of maybe work. Mm-hmm. Like, oh, he's like stranded on Mars, so he like, oh, okay, well, let me just use my own like poop to have it as like a fertilizer.
Make potatoes, and
it's like, oh, I can grow potatoes, and it's like that sounds like grounded. He's not like eating like, oh, I discovered that there's like a space rock on Mars that's actually edible and I can eat it. Yeah, it's like, no, okay, well, like, I'm a scientist, let me figure this out, and then he does, and it's like grounded in reality, even though it's like this fantastical situation.
Yeah. Yeah. That's like specifically what I was thinking of when I was thinking of like the sciencey stuff that I like in The Martian. It's like there's like multiple chapters about him growing potatoes, but it's great.
Yeah.
It's very entertaining and interesting. Some philosopher just like had that as, I didn't realize that it was a short story by the Martian guy.
That's
because I think about that a lot. That story a lot. It's a very, very interesting little nut, but it's a super, literally like a 5-minute read.
Right.
But anyways, this movie, what did you think?
Yeah, I mean, I liked it a pretty good amount, and like knowing that it was like a lot of practical stuff definitely helped make me like it even more. I mean, my only complaint is that it might have been like a little bit too long or prolonged in some spots, and that like the Marvel humor didn't really land, a lot. I wouldn't say a lot of the times, but sometimes I was just like, okay, like the womp, there it is part, I was like, all right, yeah, very, that felt very like from the books.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Ryan Gosling is probably one of the like best comedic actors. I mean, just actors really, period, working today, but his like comedy chops are just so good. Like even at the beginning, I feel like we got a nice guy scream when he wakes up in the bed. He does like the high pitched scream. I thought
of that too.
I was like, oh, he's doing the nice guy scream when he breaks his arm.
I thought of that too. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, this is one that, because it is a good chunk of it is him and a rock guy. It hinges a lot on that, on his performance, and I'm glad that it was him, because he's one of those where like he's very reliable. Like you know, when I heard that he was cast in this, I was like, he's gonna do a good job. You know, whereas I'd be worried if it was someone else. I don't know.
Matt Damon's too hot. He's too He's Jason Bourne.
Matt Damon didn't. I think that was another one of my issues with The Martian. Is like I like Matt Damon, but I just don't think he was the right choice for that character.
Yeah.
They should have just had Ryan Gosling do it for like both movies.
Just have him for everything.
He could have worked for Mark Watney too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I always thought it was funny that I think that was the year after Interstellar, but he like plays an astronaut that's stranded on like a distant planet and like has to be rescued by other astronauts, and that happens in Interstellar, and then that's the plot of The Martian.
Yeah, and then a few years ago, I didn't see it, but Ryan Gosling was also in First Man, so it's like this isn't his first.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Space
movie. Yeah, that's true.
Damn, I forgot Ridley Scott did The Martian. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Ridley Scott has some wild shit in his filmography that I'd never expect him to do.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, I mean, as far as Ridley Scott goes, that's probably one of his better movies of the last like 20 years, which isn't necessarily saying much. I don't know. I liked The Last Duel. That's the only other one I could think of that I liked Gladiator 2 when I watched it, but the more I think about it, I'm like, yeah, that wasn't really that good.
I guess I liked Prometheus enough. It was fine.
In my opinion. Oh, he did Covenant too. I actually like Covenant a little bit more than Prometheus, but it's still kind of trashy. It's silly. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen it in forever. It could be a high school boy movie, but I remember really liking Black Hawk Down. OG Gladiator's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, we keep like not talking about the actual movie.
Yeah, I just it's weird because it's like a really long movie, but I think the story is simple enough where I'm like kind of struggling to really like
just gotta save the world.
Yeah, pretty much. It's that almost feels like a backseat to the relationship between him and The Rock, because it's sort of telegraphed early on, like when they're vetting him to try to teach, like basically help them discover why these like particles are eating like sunlight. But at one point, I think it's when they're trying to convince him to go up there on the mission, she's like, "Oh, you're the perfect candidate. You don't have like a family, you don't have friends, like you don't even have a dog." And so it's like that. It's sort of telegraphed that, like, of course, yeah, the spoilers at the end, he's gonna like stay on the planet with all the rock people, because it's really a movie about like finding your own family, and that's kind of what he does in the end.
Yeah. I it's funny. I thought in my head I was thinking when you see him like walking, they have this like, they made him this beautiful little biodome for him to live on their planet. And the whole time like he's walking, him and Rocky are sitting on the beach and stuff, and I was like, if this had been the other way around and like Rocky came to Earth, Rocky would be in some like sub 50 level government bunker being shredded by like experiments.
How can we turn you into a weapon?
Yeah. So really I was like, yeah, it's probably the best move for him. And I mean, he was like forced onto the rocket too. And I don't think he really had a like resentment or whatever necessarily, but I was like, but he could, like, that was still kind of shitty what they did to him.
Yeah, exactly.
So he really didn't have much of a reason to go back.
Yeah. He's got a class of students that are hanging on his every word.
Yeah.
I also do like that it's implied that he basically learned the language because he's talking to Rocky. Eventually, near the end, it switches from like the voice to text to just like
Yes.
subtitles, and he just knows what he's saying.
Yeah, I like that too. Yeah. Also, that's like, I think, like from the Earth perspective, that makes him like probably like the most like, well, depending on if that was like just kept to like the government people or whatever, but like the coolest person on Earth, where he's like, yeah, here you go, I sent you the stuff that you need, and now I'm gonna go live on an alien planet. Bye. Like, this alien helped me save the universe, and we're not going to.
Don't wait up for me. I'm not coming back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if they can like synthesize food for him, or because yeah, they create like a little environment for him. Yeah, why not?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Again, and it's also like when he gets up, like they fashioned like part of the spacecraft into just a house for him. I was like, house looks super cozy. It looks so cozy. I was like, I could live there.
Yeah.
I could do that.
Yeah. I do see the Phil Lord and Christopher Miller on Letterboxd. It looks like they're doing Artemis, which is the other. I don't know if he has any other, but that's also an Andy Weir book.
Yeah.
It only has like directors, writer, producers listed, so it's very early on. But I was kind of wondering, after like the success of this, and The Martian did pretty well too. So I was like, I wonder if they're gonna do Artemis, because I'd have to double check, but I do think that's the only other book, maybe, or he's just done a bunch that I don't know about. I don't know. Novels.
I think those are the big ones.
Just those ones. Yep. Oh, anyways.
Yeah.
We got another movie to watch next week, next episode. And that movie for us is going to be a movie from 1997, directed by Simon West. Con Air, baby.
Yeah, I have not seen this. I have not seen Con Air. Hell yeah.
Sweet. Yeah. This will be good shit. That's awesome.
This is like peak Cage.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
Oh man,
Sweet.
I'm loving this cast too.
Yeah, it has a good cast.
Shit, yeah.
And everybody's at like their A game too. Everybody's on top of it. So yeah, if you don't want to be spoiled for Con Air, watch it before the next episode. These episodes come out on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. EST on YouTube in video form, as well as Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and more in audio form. We also have social pages on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. And with all that said, I am off to see The Wizard.
There you go.
And with me as always.
As always. Oh, hold on. I think the Scarecrow's in here.
Oh.
Oz. And I am Nick.
That was a real one. Yeah, I'm sleepy.